Our Black Beauty has also done really well. That's it right here, and it has grown considerably. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about how things have done, especially here in the upper orchard, and then also just get everything ready for winter so that you'll know what to do whenever you get your vines planted in your backyard, which is something you should be planning for in 2026.
Dean Family Acres.
You know what? In my opinion, the best muscadines we have here at our place are the very first ones and the very last ones. They're great throughout the year too, but man, that first one you get when you wait it all winter long, and then the last one when you know it's probably not going to be any more. Those are the best ones. All right, guys, so this week we're going to be working on getting our muscadines ready for winter and knocking out the winterizing. So first thing I'm going to do, as we wrapped up the garden winter prep, as well as putting up some citrus and figs and those kinds of things, is you need to think about water, disconnecting hoses. I just disconnected this one. Now I need to turn the water off. Two-handed job. There, and turn the water off. There. And then I can actually go ahead and turn that water off there as well. We put water lines in all over the place about 5 years ago, and honestly never fully finished everything. But I was very thankful to be able to get a lot of those lines in, and gives us just lots of options. So for now, let's walk up here, get these muscadines ready to go for the winter. And overall, we had a pretty good harvest of muscadines this year. I know every year seems to get a little better, especially when you're starting out, but we had a pretty good harvest. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about our muscadines, what we've done this year, and what exactly we've got planned for this coming year. We're saving room for the new release coming out of UGA, and they've changed the name a few times. I'll insert it down below because I always forget the name of it, but it was our favorite at Tifton when we went in 2022 and 2024. So as a whole, it actually was an absolutely wonderful, massive bronze that's just like a juice bomb in your mouth. And they announced this past winter, beginning of this year, 2025, that they're going to be releasing that variety to everyone. So that's awesome news for us because we absolutely love that variety. And because of that, we're saving space for at least 2 vines of that here on our upper orchard where I've walked up here too. We also have had a couple of other vines that we planted. I'll give you those updates of how those are doing. That Sweet Mix, Pam, and there was a Fry seedless that died that I had air layered. So got another spot there for something as well. Ruby Crisp have done pretty well. I had some questions about that throughout the last couple of months, just about how those have done. I'm going to show you a highlight just of exactly how that is and what we have experienced, at least with Ruby Crisp for us, and also just give you a highlight of Supreme. That's the one that the deer ripped half the cordon off, or a whole cordon off, before we put up this deer fence that we've been talking about for 3 years now. But since that happened, it's been doing really well. The only thing we really need to do on it is kind of train some of those vines when we prune in February. Our Black Beauty has also done really well. That's it right here, and it has grown considerably. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about how things have done, especially here in the upper orchard, and then also just get everything ready for winter so that you'll know what to do whenever you get your vines planted in your backyard, which is something you should be planning for in 2026. All right, guys, so first we'll start on our Ruby Crisp row. We've had 3 vines here on the upper orchard. You see the one here, this one died back. Oh gosh, I'd have to go look. Couple winters ago, last year it did hardly anything. This year it made it basically up to our trellis wire. We're also letting that one grow as a double cordon just because of how we lost it. The thing to think about as well is all of the soil up here on this upper orchard and vineyard area is not the greatest. It absolutely just does not do well, so just kind of take that in mind. This is other Ruby Crisp. It died back the same year that one did, I believe, if my memory's correct, and you can see it's just gone bonkers. However, it did not put on the quality of fruit that this vine down here that died back 2 years ago. So to answer the question that I had about which one of the Ruby Crisp vines has done the best, in all honesty, I would say that they've all done okay. Just know that if you're planting Ruby Crisp, there is a chance that it's going to take some frost damage or some freeze damage. We had a couple of years where it actually ended up down in the single digits, and that, I'm pretty certain, is what took it out. So just know that. I have also heard that Supreme, which is this one right here, is the same way, and you can see here where that cordon was completely just ripped all the way off, and we started a new one here, and it's done all right, but nothing wrong with that. This side over here, if it had stayed and not got ripped off, you can see just the amount that we would have had on both sides. So Supreme could also be a little bit frost susceptible as well. So just know that. I've known people who've grown Supreme and had no problems. Ruby Crisp is fairly new, but overall, both are great choices. Honestly, those are my top two in the red or dark varieties. What to do with your vines? Number one is you need to unhook your, let's just start from step one so we don't forget anything here. You should have been watering even after your vines quit producing much. You should have still been watering. So that's just a note to self. If you didn't do that, next year do it. So you should still be watering, I would say, in October, unless you're somewhere that's going to get a super hard freeze pretty early. Right now it is November the 9th, I believe, and we're supposed to get that hard freeze here in a couple of days, and in reality we don't get hard freezes like that typically. A lot of people are really worried about what it's going to do to their vines, what it's going to do to their fruit trees, all that kind of stuff. Unless you're marginal on something that you planted in regards to it's just barely cold hardy enough for your zone, don't fret it. Cover the stuff you think you might want to cover. Put up like I did earlier with the citrus and stuff. It's obviously not cold hardy until it's a good size here, and even with that, it's kind of iffy. But first thing you need to do is have a mess of grass in your watering area, and you want to unhook this stuff. I already turned the water off on the well house, so we're just going to let that water run out there, and we're going to unhook our hoses. This has been a wee bit creative. That's why I got hoses running everywhere this year, because, and I'll show you why here in just a little bit, but I'm going to unhook all my water lines here. All right, guys, so once you unhook everything, anything that can get water in it, freeze, bust, etc., take this inside. Don't leave this sitting out. It will bust, trust me. I've learned the hard way. Also, you want to unhook any hoses. I would recommend, if you can, put those hoses up for the winter, because I have learned that if they're a pretty decent quality hose and you put them up in the winter time, and I'm not talking about put them up like reel them up and leave them outside, I'm talking about putting them in your garage, in your shop, whatever. If you do that, typically they're going to last, I would say, at least double if not triple as long. I've seen it, and worked at a hardware store for a while and that kind of thing, and honestly, buy a good quality hose and then put them up every winter, and they will last a whole lot longer. Now, if you reel them up in the summertime, don't leave them laying out as well. They certainly will last pretty well then too, but I'll be honest with you, I use them in the summertime. So even though we've got water lines almost everywhere, I don't typically just put them up, but if you want it to last even longer, that's another pro tip. So once you get that unhooked, then everything should be ready to go. And you can see here, I need to get this undone, and I did have to kind of sort of rig this up this year because I had a busted line from this past year. So again, for now, I'm just trying to get this off. There we go. And all right, and then yeah, I thought I did that. I'm just going to unscrew this because that's how I set mine up, so that I can then put my other piece over it. All right. No black widows, imagine that. All right, there we go. Step number 2 after you get that water undone is come through, check all your vines. How's everything looking? If you have anything that looks diseased, you don't have to pull all these off, but I'm trying to see, I'm pretty certain the birds have taken care of almost all of my old fruit. We're about to enjoy one of those. Yes, it's November. Again, Black Beauty. Look at this. Massive growth. I mean, this thing grew 15 feet in one direction. And it's bowed out. So we're going to be working on upping our trellis game a little bit here next year. This is where the deer ripped that one cordon off all the way. You can see it was all the way down last year. But you know, we got a little bit more growth going this way. I think with some proper pruning, we should be good next year. So if you've got grapes hanging on, just knock them off. You don't want those hanging around. Sweet Mix and Pam, I can't remember the order. I'd have to dig at my tags or look at my video, but they're still out here. They're doing okay. That is not mulch. Well, it is, but it's not. You want to be careful of putting any mulch down throughout the whole year, because you can end up with roots growing into that mulch, and then once the winter comes, you'll have even more winter damage. So be careful doing that. I did that over here just because of the massive amount of overgrowth I've had. So let's enjoy the absolute last Muscadine of the year. We'll go with the most ripe one first, which I think is this one. Wow. Definitely got some crunch to it, a little bite to it when it's not quite ripe, but you know what? In my opinion, the best muscadines we have here at our place are the very first ones and the very last ones. They're great throughout the year too, but man, that first one you get when you wait it all winter long, and then the last one when you know it's probably not going to be any more. Those are the best ones. So we're going to go ahead and pick these off.